Man, it was a great defensive effort by our team. I thought for 40 minutes we played outstanding defense in the first half for most of the half until probably the last 7 or 8 minutes when I thought we let our lack of offensive production affect our defense. But then we were able to regroup at halftime, and I thought in the second half the defensive effort was even more intense, more thorough in the second half, and we did not allow anything to get in the way of our defensive effort in the second half. And we held them to 28%, 29% field goal shooting in the second half. It felt like every shot they took was contested, and that's the way we got to play. We're not a team that's going to necessarily come in the door and blow the doors off, but we got to we've committed to being gritty and tough, and I thought tonight we were gritty and tough.
Thanks, Coach. Take questions for Carlik or Donald at this time. In the back.
For Carlik, obviously, Coach just talked about defense. You could argue, too, if your biggest plays in the second half were defensive plays. You had the loose ball on the ground that you dove for, and then the steal on the other end. Can you just kind of talk about how big those plays were for you and how you feel just about the defensive effort tonight?
First off, I feel pretty good about the defensive effort. Those few plays were just, just showing a little heart. And like what our coaching staff like to say is, EGBs. And it's just finding other things to, help the team. And it's not always like they always try to tell me, it's not always about scoring. It's not always about putting the ball in the basket. You can do other things. You can do other things within the game, to help your team. And if diving on the floor was what I needed to do, then I had to do it.
Donald, talk a little bit about, you always seem to hit the big three when you need to. And these
Big shot done.
Talk a little bit about that.
I got to give credit to the guards, him and Trav. They do a great job finding me, and I just do what I do.
Carly, you going up against Fleming kind of for most of that second half head-to-head. He scored 9 straight, then you kind of take over. What was like that back and forth with him, kind of, especially in that second half?
It was pretty good. Fleming is a pretty good player. He got hot, and I took it upon myself to say that no more. It kind of got under my skin when he got the and one and kind of like screamed in my face. And I felt it was, disrespectful. So what I took it as no more. He gets nothing else easy. Everything he shoots or takes is going to have to be hard, or he's going to have to work for it.
Brian.
Carlik, y'all were down at half and then fell behind a little bit more, and Coach called a quick timeout there early in the second half. What was the kind of the mood and the tone and the message that came out of that hall?
As we talked in the locker room, it was, guys were, kind of, jacked up about, the ball not going in the basket. And I tried to tell, the guys before we even went to our locker room, because I think it was a minute or two left, and I told them we're not playing, that great offensively, and the ball game is still tied 20-20. And, it's a game of runs. It's basketball. And we tried to tell each other, just stay focused and keep fighting. That second half, the start of, we didn't get to a great start, but once we got ourselves together and, talked to each other, we got it together.
Let's go in the back in our last two.
Carlik, you scored your 1,500th career point tonight. What does that mean to you, just kind of looking at the time you spent wearing this Radford uniform?
It's a nice achievement. I honestly knew nothing about it, but I just want to win. I'm glad that achievements come along with it, but the win was the only thing on my mind.
All right, then right here, last question.
Coach, talk a little bit about the role of this team to keep on fighting and to never give up and just to keep their foot on the gas.
That's for me. It's a 40-minute game. You got to be able to play for 40 minutes. There's ups and downs. We've certainly been down, in some games, but, we've got some veteran guys. Don has played here 4 years. Carlik has been here 4 years. This is his third year playing. Trav's played 3 years. Devontae, we got a lot of guys that have been through a lot of battles, and so I think they know by now that, the game's not over until the zeros show up on the clock, and we just, we got to just keep plugging away until that horn sounds, and you live with whatever happens at that point, but you got to lay it all on the line.
We'll go Mike for our last student-athlete question.
When coach doesn't always take off his sport coat during the game, do you know when he does, it's serious?
I was hot. It was warm in there. I had nothing to do with the refs or play or anything like that. It was warm.
Do you think it's serious when he takes off the coat?
He said he was hot. He was hot. But
They probably didn't even notice.
I mean, I just think we say that we're gritty. We're a gritty team, and we're gritty before glamour. And to me, when I seen he take it off, it's just like,
Get
all right,
gritty.
he ready to sit down with us and stuff like that. So I mean, I pay no mind to it really. I just
He does not listen to me. It doesn't matter. He doesn't care what I do.
Great. Carleek, Donald, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take questions for Coach Jones.
go.
Yeah, right here.
Coach, you was talking about your defensive effort. I thought Divine didn't show up in the stat book offensively, but coming out of that timeout when y'all went down 7, his intensity picked up on Fleming. I feel like that changed everything.
No question. When he came here, that was the thing that he promised that he would provide for our team is energy, enthusiasm, defense, and rebounding. And, whatever he does after that is just gravy. It's cherry on top. But when he brings that kind of intensity to us, our team, it's contagious with the rest of the guys. I thought he picked up their 5-man full court and, just turned him 3 or 4 times. But it energized him. It energized us. And, we need it from him every game.
Mike, anything specific that changed with your offensive execution there towards the latter part of the second half, or guys?
Well, I thought we executed with better pace and we shared the ball. In the first half, they switch a lot. They ice the ball screens where you try to keep you on the side. We worked on what to do against it, but when it actually got out there, it didn't look like what we worked on. And so it's just a reminder of what we're trying to do. We stopped setting a lot of ball screens and just got guys out of there and gave them space. And, Carleek is one of the, rare guys in college basketball that can create his own without, any kind of ball screen or something like that. And, once he gets in that lane, now he's, unselfish enough to find other people. He dropped a couple down to Devontae. He kicked a couple out for shooters, and, that really made a difference.
Was that the message? He asked about the timeout to Carleek. Was that kind of the message, just calm down?
Yeah.
Because you had that second 24-second violation. You immediately called the timeout.
Yeah. Coach Jersa was like, hey, we might need one right here. I don't like calling them that, that early, but, certainly they had momentum. They felt good about what they were doing, and our guys didn't feel good about what we were doing. So it was just a reset, just a quick reset. And I thought, coming out of there, our guys, said, okay, let's sit down and guard, and, the rest of the stuff will take care of itself.
And Carleek and Fleming were kind of going at it. What did you see when those, you know what you're going to get the best out of Carleek when he's kind of taking on an opponent like that?
Yeah, he's a competitive dude.
Did you see that just kind of building once Fleming got
Yeah,
kind of going?
Flem he's a heck of a player, man. Golly, he, he's not known as a shooter. He can do a lot of things, but he started draining shots all over the place, and that pull-up jump shot is lethal. And but I thought, when Carleek when he's got his mind to it, he's as good a defensive player as he is an offensive player. He just, chooses sometimes to be that guy, and I'm glad he chose to do that tonight.
2 more. We got back here.
Coach, can you speak on the progression of Holland and how he went from perhaps a more timid player when he first arrived to being able to be effective in multiple areas now?
Man, I'm so proud of Tay, man. He, he didn't have the best start to his senior year. But once we got into the conference, man, he's been consistent. I told him on the way down the steps that he's the reason why, we're league champions, and he's the reason why we won this game today because of his second half effort that he did. He's got a lot of heart, man, just a lot of heart, a lot of toughness. I think they grow him like that in the Martinsville area, and he has steadily progressed over his years, and now he's starting. He started 25, 30 games this year, and really made a difference, especially in the league.
Time for one more in the back.
Coach, I know Carleek didn't really want to talk about it, but he got to 1,500 career points tonight. I mean, does that mean anything to you? And maybe can you kind of just speak to just the impact he has on this team? I know a couple of those plays you just talked about, it seemed like he not only sparked the team, but got the crowd kind of backed into it too.
It don't mean anything to me. I scored about 400 points in my career, so 15 seems like a long way away. But seriously, man, he is. He's you can argue that he's the best player to ever play here. We got one in the NBA, and for me to be able to say that, I mean, he's just so competitive and he's so smart as a basketball player. His IQ and his competitiveness are unmatched with anybody I've ever coached at, any school I've ever coached at. And I've coached at a lot of places. So, he's a guy who, if he scores 1,500, he's proud of that. He's also proud of however many assists he gets, because he can really find people. And, our guys look to him for a lot of leadership. And, I'm just, proud of the career that he's been able to have here at Radford.